All right, guys, welcome back to week 7 of A Journey to One Bitcoin, where I sit with you every single week and we stack Bitcoin together. If you're new to the channel, this channel is simply a community where we sit and stack Bitcoin every single week. It's as simple as that. I've been doing this for about 6 years now, stacking Bitcoin every single week, and I've built a solid amount of Bitcoin wealth over that time period. And so I'd like to show others how to do the same, number one, and two, how to just stay accountable, right? It's easy to get bogged down during slow times of Bitcoin, and it's easy to overhype yourself when it's ripping up and then overspending on Bitcoin. I just don't agree with that. I think you should make a monthly budget, which is what this budget sheet is right here. I do a monthly budget of my expenses, my income, and then I calculate a certain amount of money that I'm able to invest in Bitcoin every single month to build wealth. I literally am just using Bitcoin as a savings account, right? And so the goal of this channel is to teach people how to go ahead and use Bitcoin as a savings account as well, learn how to calculate their expenses, kind of a blend of financial coaching together with Bitcoin, where you actually can look at how much you can realistically invest in a Bitcoin without losing sleep over it, and just feeling comfortable with your investments, and at the same time letting Bitcoin grow. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is very much a long-term wealth building strategy. Again, I am confident, in my opinion, is Bitcoin will be the best performing asset for a very long time. And so you can invest in several different types of assets. You can put your money in gold. You can put it in real estate, whatever you choose. Each of them are going to have some kind of return on them. I just think Bitcoin will be the best performing of that group, right? So that's why I choose to put my money and invest into Bitcoin. So point of this channel, again, is just to stack every single week, and you can follow along, whether you're stacking, $10 a week or $100 a week, or $1,000 a week, whatever you can, based off of your budget. Awesome. The idea is we're just sitting here and we're doing it every week together, and we're holding each other accountable. So that's the point of this channel. Just to fill you in on where we're at currently, we started this journey on May 18, so it's been about 7 weeks. The goal of the channel is 1 Bitcoin. Obviously, that's very difficult, but we're going to just keep stacking along, and we're going to get there. We set a smart goal, though, a short-term smart goal of 0.1 Bitcoin. Which we are currently 19% there, almost 20% there. So we're getting there little by little. Every single week we keep stacking. This is my monthly that I'm going to be investing into Bitcoin, and this is my weekly investment. I put 25% here just so you guys can see the weekly investment. I just broke it down in 4. But when I put 100%, which is what we're going to be allocating every single month, my BTC monthly allocation is $14.95.40. We will actually, when you look at the auto-calculated section down here, we will get to our goal in about 7 months. So by the end of the year, we should be at our first goal, which would be really exciting. Let me tell you something. 0.1 Bitcoin is not easy to get to. It's $10,000, guys. Like it's a feat, and again, we're just making sure that we're staying accountable and we're stacking together. Also, of course, if you want to use my sheet, feel free to reach out to me, drop me a comment, and if you need help with looking at your finances, improving your finances, finding ways to reallocate your income or cut your expenses in some way to be able to allocate more towards Bitcoin. That's part of what I do, right? I help. It's kind of a blend between financial coaching and Bitcoin. Teach people how to save in Bitcoin, as well as learn to really budget their expenses and their income to be able to reallocate into Bitcoin. So feel free to reach out if you need any help with that. Drop a comment below, and I'd be happy to respond to you and give you my personal details, and we can get in contact. So right now we again are at 0.019, and we're getting closer and closer to our goal. Last week we put in a limit order that filled on June 20th. We did again through Kraken. I invested $373.85. Again, guys, let me jump right over here. $373.85. That is simply just a weekly investment, $373.85, right? Of the $14.95. So every single week I'm investing $373.85 for the month of June. So we invested $373.85. The exchange fee was $5.52 last week, and the order filled at $103,480.90. Again, like I said last week, I really like the price it was at. Bitcoin's all-time high is like almost 112,000. So at 103,480, I felt like it was a fair price. I think anything right now is a fair price. Realistically for Bitcoin, I know maybe some of you are thinking, well, I'm late to Bitcoin. $100,000 is a lot of money. But let me tell you something. I've been in this for 6 years. When I started investing, Bitcoin was bouncing at around 8,000-9,000, and I thought I was late to Bitcoin. And I said, I can't believe I wasn't buying Bitcoin, when it was a couple $1,000s, or when COVID hit, it was at $3,000. And I said, oh man, I missed the boat. And now it's at $100,000. And guys, that's just going to continue to happen. Bitcoin is literally just getting started. It is a brand new asset class. And the most incredible part about that is that it's actually now the least riskiest time to get involved with Bitcoin, right? Because you have governments accepting it, you have banks accepting it, you have asset fund managers offering it. It's getting into the mainstream just now, right? It's getting in just now into the mainstream. So it's super important, or you've got to think about Bitcoin as this is brand new. And so it's got a lot of room to grow. Before this time, a year ago, it was risky to be in Bitcoin because you didn't know if it was going to be legalized, if people, or they were going to make it illegal, how they were going to categorize it with the SEC, were they going to have an issue with it, etc. It was a little bit of the wild, wild west. In the last year or so, it's really starting to get some structure and some organization. And now there's industry that's being built around it, real, legalized, and recognized industry around Bitcoin. And so realistically, guys, this is like the starting point, right? Where the risk has kind of been stripped from the asset, and at the same time, you get all the pros of what Bitcoin is. So when people tell me, "Oh, I'm late to it," you are so early, it's unbelievable. And 10 years from now, people are gonna say, "I can't believe you were buying Bitcoin at $100,000. You're lucky," right? It's the same way where I look at somebody that was buying Bitcoin at a couple $100s and think, wow, they were lucky. But if you actually talk to those people, they'll tell you, I thought I was late, and I was jealous of the people that were buying it at a couple cents, right? And so it's just going to keep happening that way. So you've got to stop thinking about the dollar value of Bitcoin and just think about what you're trading, right? You're trading in your dollars, which are dying, a weakening currency that every year loses purchasing power for a money, or a hard money that is gaining in purchasing power consistently, right? That you're just doing the best trade possible, right? I'm trading these shitty dollars for actually a hard money that is a store of value. So that's how you've got to be thinking about this. Again, this channel is not a get rich quick scheme. We are doing long-term wealth building by creating Bitcoin savings plan. Rather than saving in dollars, we're saving in Bitcoin, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't have any savings in dollars. You should. If you should always have an emergency savings in case you lose your job, you lose whatever. But you should also be putting, in my opinion, again, I'm not, disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. This is not investment advice. This is literally educational, right? This channel, but saving in Bitcoin, what it's done for me has been incredible, and so I highly recommend it to everybody that I know, and that's why I've started this channel. So with that being said, let's get into this week's buy. Sorry, I went on a bit of a ramble there, but I'm just so excited. I love Fridays because I get to buy Bitcoin, and it's my favorite day of the week for that reason. So jumping into Kraken, let's get right into this Bitcoin buy. I am going ahead and going to start putting in this 7th week purchase of Bitcoin. So I've already put in my deposit into Kraken. Again, to be able to do a custom order, you got to put in a US dollar deposit. You can't just buy straight from your account. So when I come in here, let's X out of here. I was already messing around with this, but you'll see that I've already put 373.85. I'm buying Bitcoin. And then right down here where it says buy now, recurring, or custom order, depending on how you want to do this, right? I am somebody that, like I said, I look forward to these Fridays to be able to put in my Bitcoin buy. I like to do it manually and do it every week. You can set up a recurring buy. The issue with the recurring buy is you're going to be buying it at the exchange market price, right? So the exchange is always going to add a markup to the sell price of Bitcoin because they want to make a slight spread on it. It also mitigates their risk, so they'd rather, same with buy now. They're going to just mark up slightly on those on what you see as the current price. So if I wanted to buy Bitcoin right now at 107,000, right, it'll show it at 107,500 or something like that, because they're going to take a spread on that, and I'm going to actually be paying more for Bitcoin. So I don't like to do that. I always like to do a custom order, right? And that way I can control how much I want to buy, at what price I want to buy Bitcoin at. Last week we did a custom order, and I actually wanted to buy it at the 103 price. So I really just did a custom order and then left it at the current Bitcoin price. So if you go here to chart, you'll see the target price. This is the live price right here at 107,049. Last week what I did was I just left it at the current live price. Okay. This week at the 107 mark, I'm gonna mark down 1%. At the 105,929, that might be a little low, but that's all right. I'm gonna leave it there. Again, if it doesn't fill this week, I will force fill it throughout the week. By next week's video, you'll see me jump in here. If it didn't fill, I'll force fill it together with you on a video, and then we'll just keep going. It's no big deal. Again, I don't really care if I buy it at this price or that price. I think Bitcoin's going up for a very long time, so this is just messing around here with the price points. Okay, so I've set that at 1%. I'm going to click select here. 373.85. I'm going to review it. So we've got the buy amount at 105,929. That's just a 1% reduction from the current price. The total is 373, and the fee is $5.52 again. And again, the reason why I use Kraken is their fees are very, very fair in terms of the network. And a big reason why I do these buys on Friday nights or on the weekends, guys, is because there's not so much network congestion. You got to keep in mind when you have BlackRock buying, Fidelity buying, these traditional asset fund managers that are open during the week, they're kind of clogging the system. And so the network fees go up during those times. So I like to do my buys on the weekends and make sure that I'm not getting screwed on those network fees. Okay. All right. So that's it. I'll confirm my buy, and we're all set. We've just made in our new Bitcoin buy, 373.85 at 105,929.60. And again, I think my fee was, let's take a look at the fee when we go view order. Oh, actually the fee was actually better. It's at $3.70 this week. So that's awesome. $3.70 on the fee. So actually a little bit better. Awesome. We'll see if this fills throughout the week, and we'll get that going. So for right now, what I'm going to do is jump back into this accumulation log, and I'm going to go ahead and just fill this out for today. And again, I'll update it next week if it doesn't fill. But again, Bitcoin is so volatile. We might get news tomorrow that another rocket was sent somewhere and who knows what. And next thing you know, it's dropping a couple percents, and we're picking it up. But I have to say, I've been very surprised with Bitcoin's resilience during this time with some of the war scares, even the tariff scares. Bitcoin has really held up in previous times or past times, whenever any type of bad news came out, whether that was even interest rates hikes, everything was Bitcoin was crashing, 10, 15%, sometimes 30%. So, to see it holding up the way it's holding up with everything that's going on around the world, it's pretty remarkable. All right, so 373.85 right here. That's the invested amount. The network fee was $3.70, and then automatically the actual invested amount will be calculated in this sheet. So really simple, really clear. And then we had set it at 105,727.60. All right, so that's where we're at right now. Again, this has not been filled yet. I'm hoping by next week it is filled. But again, if it doesn't fill, we will force fill it. So we're chugging along, guys. We're getting there. Every single week we're putting in more. Now we're at 0.02 and getting closer and closer to our goal. We're at 23%. We're almost a quarter of the way to our first SMART goal of 0.1. So super exciting. I will be here again next week, putting in another buy. I hope you guys are following along, or just watch. Even if you're just watching, just out of curiosity and educational purposes, amazing. I want people that are watching this to feel comfortable. I'm not telling you to just go invest in Bitcoin and not showing you that I actually do it. I do it every single week. This is my money that I earn, at a job where I make my money, and I come home and I actually put my money into Bitcoin, right? I'm showing you my actual process of building wealth through Bitcoin and putting my money where my mouth is. Realistically, I'm not trying to show you something that isn't real. This is what I do every week, and I hope that you guys start to feel comfortable enough to do the same. And if you're already buying Bitcoin, and if you are comfortable enough, but you just haven't been able to stay consistent, this is the channel for you. Jump on with me every single Friday. Would love to start doing these in lives, hopefully soon, so that it just kind of becomes a live feed, and we can just all jump on together and start talking about accumulating Bitcoin. So next week will be really exciting. A couple things. I said last week I was going to go ahead and do my Bitcoin transfer out of the exchanges. To be honest with you, I usually would have done it at this point. I haven't done it because I want to set up a new wallet, so it's just a very fresh wallet that shows the 0, and you guys can see how, as we go, the building of that wallet as we've started this channel. So I'll set up that wallet this week. I apologize that I haven't been able to do that yet, but I'll be honest with you, I don't love leaving my Bitcoin in exchanges. I like to get it out as quickly as possible while also managing the UTXOs, or the unspent transaction outputs. And that's something else we can go over if you guys are curious about UTXOs. I can show you guys about that as well. But just know that the goal for the next video is going to be a two-part type of situation. Number one is we've got to redo the budget for July. Make sure that I'm clearly budgeting how much I can realistically invest into Bitcoin every single week. The month is over of June, so I've got to redo the July budget sheet. You guys can follow along with that. And then as well, I'm going to take the Bitcoin that I currently have in the exchange in Kraken, and I think I have some in Gemini. I've got to get that to a fresh wallet, and you guys can watch me do that transfer into that fresh wallet. Okay, so next week's video might be a little bit longer, but we'll walk through some really cool stuff. If you haven't seen that and you don't know how that works, that is definitely an option. If you're watching this, like, subscribe, help me out, click the like button, leave me a comment below. I'm always available to have a conversation. So would love to get some likes and some subscribers here to get some love from the YouTube algorithm. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you again next week. Take care.